Hello and welcome to another writing video. This time I'm talking about writing character arc. Today's writing video is about the character arc as drawn from the books and website of K.M. Weiland, who, as you may remember, has been a great source of writing inspiration for me for many years. I often refer to her writings and to her website and encourage people to draw from her as a resource. She is an invaluable source of information. Okay, let's dive in. At the beginning of the character arc, it is vital to choose to write either a truth-driven arc, such as you find in the positive change arc or in the flat arc, or the story can be lie-driven, as in the negative change arc. I've talked about the character arcs before, and I may do so again. For right now, I'm just doing a really brief overview. So we'll circle back at another time. But after you've chosen whether you're going to write a truth-driven arc or a lie-driven arc, next you have to consider the lie that the character believes. This lie clouds the vision of the character so that the character can neither see nor accept the truth needed for change, which leads to the third thing, what the character wants versus what the character needs. Surprisingly, these two things are often incompatible, creating tension and the occasional dilemma for the character. The need is very likely to be related to the truth in a positive arc or to the lie in the negative arc. Another thing to consider is the character wound, or the ghost, as John Truby would call it. This is the thing that haunts the character, often feeding the lie that the character believes as the story opens. And this brings us into the original normal world. This is the setting, the world where the story begins. At the beginning of the story, this is not necessarily our normal world, but it is the world the character is living in. And it's going to be a very different world depending upon whether you are writing a protagonist or the antagonist world. And remember too that you need to flesh out the world of each character, the protagonist and the antagonist. And speaking of the antagonist, this character likely has a negative change arc. This could be a disillusionment arc, a fallen arc, or the corruption arc. If, however, the antagonist is already disillusioned, fallen, or corrupt, and the writer doesn't have a plan to change their character in the present, not for the good and not for the bad, the antagonist could have a flat arc in which there is no current change for the character for the duration of the current story. So what does the structure look like within the character arc? We've talked about story structure from the external events perspective. We've talked some about the scene structure and the importance of structuring your scenes, otherwise the story falls apart. And character arc structures delves into the internal perspective of the story from pretty much inside the character's head. Not that you want to hop between heads in the story. You want to, however, begin the hook, which should be about 1% of the story, where the character is kind of happily or blindly, this character at this point is believing the lie. And after all, it seems to have worked for the character so far. And about 12% of the story, at somewhere around the inciting incident, the character begins to see that this lie might not work. as well. Now, mind you, if you're writing an antagonist, the antagonist would be realizing that the truth doesn't work. So it's the same way. It's the same process. By the time you get to the 25% mark, the first plot point, and the ending of Act 1, the protagonist can see that the old ways are not working. Or perhaps the antagonist is realizing that being good hasn't gotten him anywhere. But the character still cannot see how to resolve this issue. The character is punished with failure when embracing the lie, and in the negative character arc for embracing the truth. So this might be looking at the first pinch point, which is approximately, and not legalistically, but approximately 37% into the story. At about the midpoint of the story, the character can understand the truth is needed, but cannot fully embrace it. Conversely, if the antagonist is the character in question, that character sees but isn't willing to embrace the lie. At this point, they're wrestling. One is wrestling in favor of the truth. One is wrestling in favor of the lie. But they can't embrace that concept, not yet. Then the character reaches the second pinch point. And the character at this point finds that embracing that truth or embracing that lie will reward them accordingly. For a character arc that is on the positive side or perhaps flat, the character is rewarded for the truth. For the negative arc, the reinforcement comes when embracing the lie. Okay, now we get to about 62% of the story, and we're working toward the third plot point, which is about 75% of the story. So the character finally accepts the lie. In the negative character arc, your antagonist would finally embrace the lie or reject the truth. He has to reject the truth before he can accept the lie if it's a negative journey. If it's a positive journey, at about the 75% mark, the character will finally reject the lie. Yes, that's right. The truth, or the lie, will be fully embraced by the character being written and about the climax. That's 88% of the story. And in the resolution, we see the character entering their new world, where their new truth informs the character's world. Or in the antagonist's life, the negative change arc, where that lie has transformed his or her world. For a much better explanation, you can go to Cam Wyland's website at helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com. I only plug it because I refer to her so often. I do hope that helps. Until next time.